Lamar Jackson is one of the most dynamic players to ever stop on a football field. He has consistently caused nightmares for opposing defensive coordinators, beating teams with his arm and his legs. Since being drafted into the NFL back in 2018, Jackson's resume stacks up with the league's best. Despite being an MVP, a first-team All-Pro, and a two-time Pro Bowler, Lamar has shown a major flaw in his game this season, his second-half performance. The Baltimore Ravens have begun this season 3-3, and going back to watch all their games, the Ravens could easily be 6-0 had it not been for Lamar Jackson making crucial fourth-quarter mistakes. Let's begin with the Ravens' Week 2 performance against the Miami Dolphins, in which they lost 42-38. While Lamar overall played a pretty good game, his stats are not as clean as his game tape shows. The Ravens began the fourth quarter up 35-14, a seemingly insurmountable lead. While this was mainly a total defensive breakdown by the Baltimore Ravens, allowing multiple big play touchdowns late in the game, I think it is worth noting that Lamar did not make the necessary plays to win the game in those late moments. After Miami scored and Baltimore got the ball back, Jackson led 3 fourth-quarter drives and mustered up just 3 points. He also threw a horrific pass that should have been an easy pick six. Earlier in the game, Lamar fumbled a snap at the opposing team's 1-yard line that was recovered by the Dolphins. If he just handles the snap properly and sneaks the ball in, the Ravens likely aren't in this situation and just win the game anyways. Another example of this is against the Buffalo Bills. After leading the Bills 20-10 at halftime, it was another blown opportunity by Lamar Jackson. The Ravens defense allowed points on the Bills' first 2 possessions to tie the game back up to 20 apiece. Lamar Jackson threw 2 terrible fourth-quarter interceptions, including one at the Bills' 2-yard line with 4 minutes left, which ultimately lost them the game. You fast forward into this past weekend, and it was another complete meltdown for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, the offense, looked strong most of the game, eventually taking a 20-10 lead early in the fourth quarter. Momentum was clearly in the Ravens' favor, but the Giants scored again, shrinking the Ravens' lead to 20-17 with 6 minutes left in the game. As the Ravens started to establish a drive, in one of the worst plays of the year, Jackson fumbles the snap and proceeds to throw the ball across his body to be intercepted, setting up the Giants perfectly to take the lead. The Ravens eventually got the ball back with 1:40 left on the clock, and yet again, Lamar Jackson fumbles the ball in the pocket and sets up the Giants for the win. Even the raw numbers back up this hypothesis that Lamar Jackson struggles late in games. His completion percentage drops from 66 to 57% from the first half into the second half. He throws an average of 121 yards in the first half and 91 yards in the second half. His quarterback rating goes from 107 to 77. His touchdown and interception ratio goes from 8-2 in the first half to 5-4 in the second half. Specifically in the fourth quarter, Jackson has thrown 1 touchdown to 4 interceptions with a quarterback rating of 56.3. While yes, a lot of things are going wrong for the Ravens, including defensive breakdowns and other offensive players making mistakes, we can clearly pinpoint multiple crucial late-game mistakes made by Lamar Jackson that have directly contributed to the Ravens losing multiple games that they should have won. At the end of the day, Lamar Jackson is a star NFL quarterback, and he should get a contract extension for his great play. But it's time we recognize his major flaw, which is playing good late-game situational football. He needs to be better and recognize where he is and when he is in certain games. He needs to play much smarter than he has in the past. The Ravens have a great coach, culture, roster, and quarterback to potentially go deep in the playoffs this season. Let's see if Lamar Jackson can turn the tide and bring the Ravens back to the Super Bowl.